This is a pie chart of a student's life. As you can see, it is a very full schedule and it leaves little room for flexibility. This chart is an estimate of a day in a life of a teenager in high school. This chart does not include any sports or other activities like driver's ed or tutoring, and it leaves no extra space for unintended situations, such as traffic, injuries, or family emergencies. For example, Tori lives in Airdrie and I live a few minutes away from Callaway Park. First, we both have a 40-minute bus ride to a community called Citadel. Then we have an almost 20-minute drive to our houses. Neither of us get home till nearly 4:30, while someone, like Emma, gets home at 4:10. From the time we get home to the time we should be going to bed, it is approximately 4.5 hours. That is not enough time to accomplish everything we need to do, which means something's gotta give, and that something is our sleep. The average teenager does not fall asleep until 11:30 midnight. That has given them more time to complete things they need to do and also give them some downtime. This is a huge reason that over 90% of high school students are sleep deprived. Not having enough sleep is every student's biggest enemy, and sleep deprived students cannot function as well. Both these issues can lead to undue stress. We want to approach the question at every angle possible, so we also want to talk about homeschool kids. Do they receive the same amount of pressure as those who attend regular school? The average school day for homeschool children varies. For kindergarten, it's 30 to 45 minutes a day. For second and fourth grade, it's 1.5 hours to 2 hours a day. For fifth and sixth grade, it's 2 to 4 hours a day. For seventh grade and up, it's anywhere from 4 hours to 8.5 hours a day. Being homeschooled gives you the luxury of being able to complete schoolwork at any given time during the day. Although the government assigns hours of school to be completed every year, they do not keep track of the individual student. Therefore, kids have the opportunity to have flexibility in their schedule. Homeschooling works well for kids who are very involved in sports, band, or anything that consumes a lot of their time. Homeschool kids will not have half as much stress as a student attending regular school, although they will experience difficulty when they leave homeschool and begin their life in the real world. They will have to go to regular college or university. In classes, they will have to interact with others. This brings up the question, is school stress inevitable? These kids being homeschooled might be happy in their current life, but it's not a good option for a long-term future. They won't have the safety net of mom or dad in their house. They'll have to write those hard tests that day that they are being handed out. They'll have to hand in assignments on time, and they'll have to be at class on time. Homeschool kids will face many changes in their life.
Mental disorders related to stress are things like anxiety, self-harm, suicidal thoughts, or even suicide, depression, like all these things. And we found that one of the biggest causes of these mental disorders is school. And it's not schoolwork as a whole, it's things like teachers, friends, grades, homework, bullying, popularity, drugs, alcohol, parties, anything. But all relates back to school.
And it starts as early as grade 2. There's kids who go to school stressed, worrying that they're not going to have friends, worrying that they're going to have to eat lunch alone.
We found that the biggest mental disorder related to school is anxiety. Anxiety is a form of stress. It can be experienced in many different ways, physically, emotionally, and in the way people view the world around them. Anxiety mainly relates to worry about what might happen, worrying about things going wrong or feeling like you're in some sort of danger.
There's mild cases of anxiety, and then there's severe cases of anxiety. Severe ones can cause dizziness, rapid heartbeat, difficulty breathing, sweaty, shaking hands. These sensations are called the fight-flight response, and they are caused by a rush of adrenaline.
Anxiety can be triggered from things like tests, to parties, to meeting new people, to anything that is school related. We found that school is the second biggest cause of suicide in North America, right behind bullying. But we found that the number one place kids are being bullied is at school.
School kids are less likely to commit suicide or have these mental disorders like anxiety and depression because they tend to have more flexibility in their schedules. because they can work at their own pace or do what they want. But when it comes to college, when they go off to university and stuff, they tend to struggle more with the fact that they are unable to interact as well with others. They tend to get scared when tests and stuff come because they've never had them scheduled before. They can just write them whenever. It's a pretty big adjustment for them.
They don't have the safety net of being able to push back the test another day, or being able to get out of bed whenever they want, or ask their mom and dad for help. They're being put in the real world where they have to stand on their own 2 feet. Homeschool kids are more likely to have social anxiety than kids who attend regular school.
They tend to have struggles keeping up in class because they're not used to the pace that they're learning. They're used to going at their own pace.
And that brings up the question, is homeschool good for kids in the long term? Because they will most likely have social anxiety for the rest of their life because they won't be introduced to new people very early in their life.
So will they have the undue stress for the rest of their life? Or how will they deal with it? On Cited Source, we chose to do a survey, and we found out that 80% of the students that we surveyed have developed mental issues because of school. Whether this mental issue be anxiety, self-harm, suicidal thoughts, or anything else, its biggest cause is because of undue stress. Not everybody has severe cases of it, but everybody's experienced a little bit of anxiety every now and then. Teenagers have the habit of stressing out about small things. This relates back to our pie chart and how there isn't enough time to accomplish everything. So students tend to overstress.
Kids who have anxiety are much more sensitive, and they get anxiety over being late to school, they get anxiety over getting a couple questions wrong, they get anxiety over tests, everything. One of our more important sub-questions is school stress inevitable? And this relates back to our homeschooled kids. And what this means is, after they leave the comfort of their home, are they going to face school stress once they enter college and university?